Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Stitching. Welcome back if you are already subscribed, and welcome if you are new. I'm happy to have you here. Please feel free to subscribe as I will have many more videos like this one to come. So this is our third part in our series of the basics of crocheting. We've talked about different hook sizes, different yarns, how to get started, how to do a slip knot, single crochet, double crochet, and treble crochet. Now we're going to work on how can I crochet in the round. So here's what we need to get started. Today we're just working on how to actually get started, and we're not doing a specific project. So you just need yarn of some sort and a crochet hook. I am using a 7mm crochet hook, and then I just grabbed this bulky yarn that I have, and I just figured, you know what, it's a fun color and it'll be easy to work with. So to work in the round is, instead of doing rows, you're going to be doing rounds. Okay, so you're going to be able to make circular things like coasters, making stuffed animals, amigurumi, things that you would need to work in the round with. So let me show you guys how to make a magic ring or a magic loop. That is like the main basis for working in the round, unless you are going to do a chain 2 method. And I can also show you guys how to do that as well in this video. But let's focus on the magic ring. Some people call it the magic ring, the magic loop. I think there's even another term for it, but it's all the same thing, okay? So what you're going to need to do is get your yarn and follow along really closely, okay? So you're going to get the side that's the tail, okay? Not the working yarn side, but the tail side. And you're going to kind of like just put it over your palm like this. And then you're going to kind of get your thumb and just hold it gently so it's not like flailing all around, okay? You're going to loop it over the first 2 fingers of your hand, okay? Then you're going to make an X with your yarn, okay? And then you're going to hold it with your ring finger. So you're making an X over your first 2 fingers of your hand. You're kind of lightly holding with your thumb, and then your ring finger is going to hold it. Now, with your crocheting hand, whether you're right or left-handed, get your crochet hook, and you're going to want to hold it where your crochet hook is, the hook part of it is facing downward, okay? Or sideways, but you don't want it up right now. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go under the first line of your X and then over the second line, so that way your hook is pointed down. Okay, so you're under the first part of the X and over the second part of the X. Now with your hook pointed down, you're going to pull it and turn it toward you. So you pulled it down, now twist it so the hook is facing you now. Okay, now the next step is going to be getting your hook. I kind of sometimes like to just like hold it with my middle finger just to kind of gain a little bit of pressure on it, but not too much. Now get your hook and you're going to put it under that second line again and bring it up like you're yarning over, and you're going to pull it through that little loop that you made, and that's it. That's the magic ring. So I tried to walk you through pretty slowly to explain it, but that's it. So you make your magic ring, and when you do that, your first row that you're crocheting into is going to be within this circle. So for instance, let's do 6 single crochets into this magic loop, because that's how a lot of your projects are going to start if you're working in the round. You're going to be doing typically single crochet into it. So let me show you how to do that. So it's as if you're working on a chain, or working vertically, where you crochet into your circle. What I like to do is I like to kind of hold it while I'm working on it. So what I'm going to do is insert my hook into the middle of your circle, and you're going to pull up a loop from your working yarn. Now what I like to do is I like to get either one or two of my fingers and put it inside of my loop and kind of give it some tension. So that way I can work. Now you're going to yarn over and just do a normal single crochet like you normally would, okay? And there you go. So let's do another one into it. Put your hook inside the loop that you made the magic circle, yarn up, and let's just do 6 single crochets. So that was 2, 3, and as I work, there are a few different ways, right? You can keep your fingers in the whole time. You can kind of move them and go as you go. It's just whatever's comfortable for you. It also depends on the hook size and the yarn size and the yarn type that you're using. That will also change what you're doing. Okay, so now that we did our 6 single crochet, let me show you how to actually close your magic ring. So to close it, you're gonna pull, keep your hook on your work, okay? Don't take it off. If you take it off, it's gonna undo all your work, so keep it on, okay? Grab the tail, not the working yarn, the tail, and with your right hand, you're kind of just like gently holding on to like where you did your single crochets. You're just gently holding it, and then pull the tail with your other hand. And so you're lightly pressing, putting a little bit of pressure with this hand and then pulling the tail with this hand. And you're going to notice it starts to close, right? And now we closed our magic ring. Now, you don't want to pull it so tight that you break your yarn, okay? Trust me, that happens, especially if you're working with super poofy yarn. It can break even if you're not pulling that hard. So that's why a chain 2 option is really great, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there you go. So now it's closed up, okay? Ooh, I think I have dog or cat hair in there. Anyways, now your magic ring is closed. So now if you're gonna work in the round, you're gonna start working around in a circle. So typically when you're working in the round, that was your first row or round, and then your second round is going to be an increase into each stitch. So we started with 6 single crochets, and our second round is going to end with 12 because you're going to do an increase into each stitch. And to do that, you're going to insert your hook into the first single crochet of the round, just like if you're working vertically, right? It's the first one. And not your tail, but your working yarn over, pull through just like a normal single crochet, okay? And when you're working in the round, you're always going to want to use a stitch marker to mark that first stitch of the round, because you don't want to just keep working in a circle and not keeping track, right? So just mark it. Some people count all the time, but you know what? A kid's gonna run up, something's gonna happen, and you're gonna lose track, and then you're gonna have to frog your whole thing, and that's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. So just put the stitch marker. And if you don't have a stitch marker, use a safety pin or bobby pin, you know, anything like that. Anything works, even yarn. Okay, now to do your increase, we did 1 single crochet. Now we're gonna do another single crochet into the same stitch that we were just in. So now we actually have 2 single crochets into 1 stitch, and that's called an increase. So that is how at the end of this, you're gonna end up with a total of 12 single crochets instead of 6, because you're increasing in every single stitch. An increase on a pattern is typically abbreviated by doing INC, and that means increase. So that just means that whatever stitch you are on, so if you're on a single crochet like we are, you're gonna do 2 of those stitches in the same stitch. And that is how you get your round or your row, depending on what you're doing, grow, okay? And that works the same if you're working vertically or in the round. You can grow it by doing an increase, which is 2 stitches into the same stitch. And that's it. So that's how you work in the round. Now, and that's how you start your working in the round, doing a magic circle, magic loop, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now what I'm going to do, see, and then you're just going to keep going. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to work in the round, but starting with a chain 2 method. So to start with the chain 2 method, this is for If you don't even want to mess with the magic loop, or you try and it's just not working for you, you can do the chain 2 method. Another reason for doing a chain 2 method is if you're working with some type of chenille yarn, because chenille yarn breaks like crazy. So trying to close that magic loop is just a disaster. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is, as if you're starting a regular like vertical line, you're going to make your slip knot however you like to make your slip knot. Everybody makes it differently. There's no right or wrong. As long as it closes when you need it to, you're fine. So make a slip knot, put it on your hook, and let's start. So now once it's on your hook, you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Now in that second chain from the hook, you're going to insert your hook into that second chain from the hook, and you're going to do a single crochet. Okay, so now this is how we're going to work in the round. We're going to be working in that second chain from the hook this whole time. Okay, so now we did 1 single crochet, and we're going to do 6 single crochets into that second chain from the hook. And since we're keeping it in that same stitch, it's going to start to make a circle. So that was 3, and then just kind of move your tail out of the way as you're working. It's no big deal, just kind of move it to the bottom. 4, oops, that's the wrong, 5 and 6. So now we have 6 single crochets into that same chain 2 space, and we're able to make a round just like we did with a magic loop. Now here's the thing, when you're doing the chain 2 method, there's no way to really get your tail and close it. So make sure that you do not make your chain too big, because as you put in your 6 single crochets or 8, whatever it is, you want it so that way when you're done, it's closed like this. So don't make your chain too big, because there's no like pulling it, right? Because we're not making a magic loop, we're just working in the same chain. And then you would just start your second row going into the first single crochet. Just like we did with the magic loop, you're going to do your first one, and you're going to get your stitch marker, mark it, and then do another one in that same stitch, because we're going to do an increase, and then we're going to end this round with 12, just like we did with the magic loop. So it's all the same other than that starting way, right? Whether you're starting it with the magic loop or with the chain 2 method. But now you know how to do both methods. And it really depends on what you're making, what yarn you're using, and what you're comfortable with. I personally like to use the magic loop whenever I can, because I can control that size of that hole in the center, right? But if I'm working with chenille yarn, which is pretty much the only one, that I will use a chain 2 method. And that's pretty much it. So it's going to be the same where you're increasing and working in the round the exact same way, whether you started with a chain 2 or a magic loop. But it's like I said, it's just that beginning stage, and you really can do either one interchangeably depending on what you prefer. But there you go, that's it. That's how you work in the round. I kind of walked you through how to increase in this video as well, but I'm going to do a more in-depth video showing you guys how to increase and decrease, whether you're working in the round or vertically. And I think that's going to be really educational, and hope you guys get a lot of questions answered with that video as well. If you have any other questions regarding working in the round or increasing or decreasing, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to help you guys. I love making these beginner-friendly videos. It seems to be what you guys are looking for, so I'm happy to do it. As always, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.